What's up guys, Kooks46 here, bringing you an MLB The Show 19 video. That's right, we're talking about MLB The Show 19 today. So, if you guys were unaware, San Diego Studios on their Twitch channel today did a little short live stream where they made a pretty big announcement, and that is that MLB The Show 19 will be getting a closed alpha. If you guys didn't know, MLB The Show 18 did the same thing last year. It was 5 or 7 days or something in the month of December where they kind of just wanted to test out the new servers that they added into the game. They kind of wanted to test out the UI of how Diamond Dynasty worked, and it was a pretty successful alpha, I would say. There were some minor gameplay things that they had in the alpha that they wanted to test out, but for a majority of it, it was pretty much all about the server stability and the UI of Diamond Dynasty. So this year, MLB The Show 19 is also going to be receiving an alpha. By the way, if you don't know what an alpha is, just think of it as an earlier version of a beta. So, you know, Call of Duty usually gets a beta every year to test out the multiplayer, like a couple weeks to a month before the game comes out. An alpha is just a really early build of the game, even before beta. So for the MLB The Show 19 alpha, the target date is December 13th through December 19th. In order to get into the beta, you must sign up on theshownation.com/alpha. I will leave a link to that in the description. Go to that website, sign up for an account on theshownation.com if you don't have one already, and you know, make sure you get all the information in there so you can get an invite to the alpha. If you sign up, you're not absolutely guaranteed a spot. The participants will be chosen at random, but if you sign up, you have a good shot of at least getting in the alpha. If you don't sign up, you're not getting in. At some point, if you check your PlayStation messages, you will see an invite code or an invite from Sony San Diego saying you've been selected to participate in the alpha. That's how you know if you've got in or not. So make sure you look out for all that stuff. So that's the information on how to get in and when the alpha is, but let's actually talk a little bit about what this alpha is going to be focusing on. Like I said, last year for the Show 18, they really wanted to focus on server stability. They wanted to focus on the UI. This year is going to be a little bit different. This year, they're going to be heavily focusing on some gameplay changes. I'm going to go ahead and let the clip play where they talk about some of the things that they want to focus on in the alpha, some of the little gameplay tweaks. I'm going to let them explain it, and then I'll get back to you guys when the clip is over. So roll it.
So we're going to jump in. We're actually going to give you guys a little bit of a preview of what's going to be in the closed alpha, what to really focus on, and really where a lot of our changes are sort of bulked at that we want feedback on. It's really important. We want to work with you guys in these areas so that the Show 19 can be the best experience that it can be. So let's jump right in.
Look at that slide.
See the slide here? So obviously, under hitting, there's a lot of changes going on here. But really, it's focused on the balance, right? There's been a lot of discussion in the community, power versus contact, who's more viable, end game lineup building, etc. So we really wanted to focus on how pure contact hitters perform in game, and then that sort of value relative to pure power hitters, right? So there's a lot of changes built up in these areas, a lot of stuff that we're not going to go into details about, but this is a key area to really focus in and provide feedback for us.
And we will go into details in those areas and changes in the gameplay stream, but not for the closed alpha stream, which is right now.
Absolutely. That one's going to be fun and exciting. Also, Bunting, right? We made a lot of changes to Bunting a couple years ago, and really what it effectively did was take bunting out of the game. You know, a lot of people will bunt into double plays right now, or you'll try and move a guy over and you bunt it so hard that you can just get him thrown out at second. So as you can see there, we've actually done a lot of the stuff with situational bunting. So if you need to sacrifice and move a guy over, you're going to be able to do it this year. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on with bunting that situationally will make it part of the game again. It's a part of a strategy component for players. So that's another key area. Lots of feedback is greatly appreciated in that area.
Yes, please hammer away. Play as many games as you can. And there will be different avenues to provide feedback, which we'll get into. But first, we got some questions.
Well, actually, let's go to the other side of the baseball.
Hey, other side of baseball.
We're just on offense right
Whoa,
here.
we're just on offense. Pitching. Totally forgot about pitching.
Right?
What's changing in
Obviously,
pitching?
a lot of discussion about this, right? So we've done our best to sort of balance this in a way that doesn't impact certain segments of the community really negatively. But other people in the game need faster pitch speeds. So obviously, bullet point 1, fastball speeds are increased. In head-to-head. And then any difficulty above rookie versus the computer, they're also
keeps going
jacked
up.
up. Obviously, you want to be able to practice versus the computer too, so you can get a feel for how online gameplay will go. There's going to be more strikeouts in head-to-head games. This is due to a whole slew of changes, but things like swing and miss, contact, vision, etc. But in general, what you're going to see is a lot more strikeouts. We've also, you know, there was an interesting meta in 18 with low and off-speed pitches. We've done a lot of tuning, again, with off-speed relative to fastballs. So as you can see there, off-speed pitches will be slightly less effective. in 18 in general, and fastballs are much more effective relative to 18. And then additionally, a huge discussion, as always, big change.
Yeah.
Home runs per 9, the attribute that pitchers have, now has an in-game impact.
In-game impact. So this used to be a throwaway attribute for actual head-to-head play. Yep. It's not anymore. It actually impacts head-to-head games now. So please pay attention to that, especially on the top end. That's where you want to pay attention. Guys who have home runs per 9, really high home runs per 9 attribute, pay attention to the type of home runs and how many that they give up.
Yeah, so like one of the, maybe just a real quick example is like bullpen guys. This might make your bullpen more interesting. So it's not just about velocity now. If you're in a tight game, you might want to bring in a guy with a little bit lower Ks per 9 if he's got that 99 home runs per 9. Get a little bit of a strategy element there, mix up how bullpens look.
So there you guys go. They're making a lot of changes to hitting and pitching this year because the community has definitely made it known that power is pretty much the only meta this year. Pitching, the fastball speeds are pretty slow compared to other games. The off speed, low and away, low and inside are really where you're going to find a lot of success if you're pitching, etc., etc. We've talked about the gameplay all year long. We know what the issues are. So this alpha is going to try and test some stuff to combat that. They want to try to make the game a lot more balanced and a lot more viable for a lot of the different cards because let's be honest, pure contact hitters this year, not viable. So it's really nice to see a statement on there that says pure contact hitters should be more viable and then pure power hitters will be a lot less viable. And the other thing they talked about in terms of hitting was bunting. If you didn't play MLB The Show 16, bunting was a huge exploit. You could bunt with almost any card in the game. It didn't matter what their speed was. And I remember David Ortiz, he had either 1 or 0 speed, and you could bunt with him and beat it out almost every time with just the way the bunting mechanics worked. Now in MLB The Show 17, they wanted to combat that and try to make bunting tougher, try not to make it as, as much of an exploit. And they really made it to the point where you couldn't really bunt at all. And that kind of carried over to 18. Don't get me wrong, I would much rather play the game the way it is now with no bunting versus the way it was in 16 with bunting. But bunting is still a very important aspect of baseball. It's a baseball play. It happens all the time, especially with pitchers in sacrifice situations. And so I think it needs to be addressed, and I'm happy that they're taking a look at it and trying to make it better for the show 19. So hopefully all of that works out and is all good. Now let's talk about the pitching. As they said, they really wanted to focus on the fastball speeds to try to make them quicker and make fastballs more effective because this year the meta was really to pitch low with off speed. It was a lot tougher to hit those than it was to hit fastballs because the fastball speeds this year were really slow compared to the past games. Also, I don't know if it was a deal with the pitchers or the way the PCI worked this year or whatever it was, but there were very few strikeouts in head-to-head gameplay, whether it be Battle Royale events or ranked seasons, whatever. Strikeouts were hard to come by if you were pitching. I haven't even gotten my Immortal Ted Williams yet. I have like 45 to 50 event wins, so I'm less than 30 away, and I still need another 75 strikeouts, which is going to take me a long time just because not a lot of people strike out this year. Strikeout numbers are definitely down, so I'm excited to see what they do to try to make that work a little bit better. Also, one thing that's really interesting is the fact that it says home runs per 9 will now have an impact in online gameplay. If you guys were unaware, there are some pitcher stats on the card that are literally just simulation based. So stamina, hits per 9, Ks per 9, walks per 9, those all have an in-game impact, but home runs per 9 is completely simulation based. It doesn't have a single impact in online gameplay. It's similar to how if you look at the base running stats, you have speed, stealing, and then base running aggressiveness. Base running aggressiveness is not an online stat. It's not a gameplay stat. It's a simulation stat. It will only affect if you're simulating a game. And with how many home runs were hit this year and how power was the ultimate meta, it's going to be really interesting to see what the home runs per 9 stat actually is going to have an impact on. So I'm excited to see that. So that's what you can pretty much expect with the alpha. Now, a couple more things. You cannot stream and you cannot make content on the alpha. You can't post gameplay to your channel. You will get banned. I know people who posted the alpha last year that actually did get banned for the show 18 because they posted the early content. This is an early build of the game. This is before even the beta build. They don't want this to be what's represented online of what their game is actually going to be like. They don't want this version of the game to be broadcasted. They just want this for specific testing and for feedback. So if you're smart, don't stream the game, don't record it, don't do any of that. It will only hurt you. Now, if you want to give feedback for the alpha, you can go to theshownation.com/alpha, and there will be a forum there that you can go ahead and provide feedback in. There's going to be different sections. If you have something you want to show off for hitting or pitching or whatever, just go to those, let it be known what exactly you want to show them, and that's how you'll be able to give your feedback. So guys, overall, I'm excited that we're getting another alpha. We get to play the game a little bit early, even though it's not going to be totally indicative of what the game is going to be at the launch. We do get a chance to get our hands on the game and try out some of these new features they're testing out and all that type of stuff. So remember, go sign up. Make sure you guys aren't missing out on this. Clear your schedule when this time period actually comes out for the alpha, the 13th through the 19th of December, and play, hammer away, get the feedback to the devs so we can try to make MLB The Show 19 the best game we can. But anyway, guys, drop a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel to keep up with all the MLB The Show 19 news. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.